I have to share this because the chaos unfolding right now is beyond comprehension. It's overwhelming to even wrap my head around, but I'll step back and lay out the complete backstory of how we arrived at this point. I'm 35 these days. At age 30, I was hustling as a pizza delivery driver back in our small town, squeezed into a tiny studio flat while grappling with my direction in life. Not exactly a highlight of my existence, I confess, but I wasn't causing harm to a soul. I covered my expenses, and I figured my relatives might muster at least a shred of basic compassion. Boy, was I mistaken. The cookout took place in July, half a decade back at my folks' place. My father had rounded up the whole clan for the event. My mother, my elder sibling Elias, my uncle Rex, my cousin Nolan. Your typical warm weather reunion. Hot dogs and brews, nothing extravagant. I arrived post-shift, still clad in my delivery outfit since I lacked the buffer to swap clothes. That turned out to be my initial error. Father glanced my way as I entered the patio and declared to the group that I ought to steer clear of the barbecue pit lest I reduce it to cinders. He proclaimed it with enough volume for the adjacent yard's residents to catch it. Mother hovered nearby, clutching her cocktail stemware, and she burst into giggles. Remarked how at 3 decades in, still slinging pies, what a squandered breath of air. I attempted to chuckle it away, you see, to wave it off casually, but Uncle Rex chimed right in, declaring he wouldn't trust me to scrub latrines. Nolan, my kin, who's a couple years my junior, opted to join the fray and quipped that even the household pup had notched an achievement by mastering the sit command. Then Elias, my flesh and blood brother, lifted his ale vessel and proposed a salute. He toasted to evolution's pace and how it occasionally drags its feet. The lot of them erupted in guffaws, clustered in a ring on my parents' lawn, cackling at me as if I were a botched lab project they regretted sharing DNA with. I held back tears. I refrained from shouting. I avoided hurling objects or exiting in a theatrical huff. I simply remained planted, absorbing it all as I'd done throughout my existence with them. I wrapped up cooking their patties, wished them a fine feast, and departed. Headed to my flat and lingered there, dissecting every instant of that outdoor meal, looping through each phrase, each chortle, each expression etched on their features. Let me clarify something crucial about my kin. Father runs a modest building firm, not a giant operation, but it generates solid revenue. Mother never held employment, merely frittered away father's earnings on her whims. Elias labors under father, pulls in fair pay, struts around like a corporate whiz for overseeing the labor rosters. Uncle Rex is father's sibling, employed in the firm as well, perpetually positioning himself as father's chief ally. Nolan is Rex's offspring, employed sporadically for father while he allegedly sorted his path, though much of his energy went to reveling and leeching off his elders. They all condescended to me since I bolted from the locale post-graduation, ventured solo to the urban sprawl, flopped at a few ventures, returned penniless. In their eyes, I embodied the clan disgrace, the fellow who couldn't cut it, the flop who slunk homeward to ferry pizzas in the very community that recognized him. What escaped their notice was that my pizza runs weren't mere drudgery. I was observing, educating myself, scheming. I can't tell you the full story in short. To watch the full story, click the related link below.